very honored to be standing here in front of all of you. I've not been in this area of the museum for a long time, ever since they closed this museum at the back for restoration. Well, I wish to welcome all participants. There are about 80 of you down here, and I wish to congratulate also Unimas as well as the Crown Museum Department for coming up with this idea of night at the museum. Well, if you are to ask me to stay in the museum at night, I think I'll, especially the Sarawak Museum, I'll think twice about doing it. Not to say that I don't like museum, I love museum. Practically everywhere that I go holiday, I never miss going to two places. One is the museum, and the other one is the market. My wife knows very well, anywhere that I go, I will always want to go to the market, and I will always want to go to the museum. Because these are the two places that practically you can see how the life of that particular city or that particular country is. At the market, you can see what kind of food that they are eating, the diverse culture or the diverse background that they have. At the museum, you can more or less see how this nation or how this city developed through the years. This time round, it's just unfortunate for the participants that our museum is still at its state of restoration. I would love to see it being expedited actually to get ready. It's just unfortunate. We are still doing the renovation to the first museum in Sarawak, the one at the back. Used to be known or recognized as one of the best museums in Southeast Asia in terms of artifacts, in terms of the history that is portrayed inside the museum. And apart from that, we are building the new museum campus, which we call the new museum campus. Once it's been launched, then we'll have another name for it probably. This is going to be the second largest museum in Southeast Asia, with 7,000 square meters built-up area, the one just across the road. It will be completed, physically completed this year, but then it will take about a year for it to be open to the public. I think those who are involved in the museum will know putting in and those things into the museum will take a long time. You just can't display those things and just like you display things in your living room at home. At the museum, once you place something there, there must be a write-up about what that thing is, where it is found, etc. Even if it's just something very small. So that's why it's going to take a long time. And I also do hope that it can be open on time. Because this year is the launch of, or the start of our Visit Sarawak year, January 2019. And Sarawak, unlike Singapore or like big cities, we don't invite people to come to Sarawak to advertise it as a shopping paradise. But we advertise Sarawak as a place where you can see diverse cultures, a lot of diversity, the different kind of dancing, the different kind of food that are being eaten by the various ethnic groups. For the report, Sarawak has got about 27 different ethnic groups. So when there are 27 ethnic groups, you can see 27 different kind of cultures, 27 different kind of way of life. Some of them live in the interior, some of them live in the coastal area. The houses that they stayed, some of them stayed on steel, some of them just stayed on like the penats, or they are quite nomadic. They will be staying just in using branches of trees. They just make it makeshift, and then probably they will be staying there for a few weeks, then they will move to another place and they will make a new one. So you'll see the different kind of communities that we have down here. And when we have so many different kind of ethnic or racial groups, there will be so many different type of food. The Chinese will be eating different kind of culinary food. The Malays will be different. The Dayaks will be different. There's so many of them. So these are the kind of things that we would love to show to the world. How a small state like this, with so many different kind of racial group communities staying together, but they are able to stay harmoniously together and then respectful of each other's belief and religion. We are very, very proud of that. That's why once the museum, especially the museum on the left or on your right, is ready, is going to reflect the kind of diverse cultures that we have in Sarawak. But these are not just the two museums. We are going to have many other museums. We even have a cat museum. Kuching literally named is known as cat. Kuching, that meow, cat. So we even have a cat museum in Kuching, even though it's not under the museum department as yet. It's being managed by the city hall. But so you can see, we love to have museums. There are many museums, and apart from that, we have got many other programs preserving our forts. The history of Sarawak is a little bit interesting for those who are not from Malaysia. Well, a few hundred years ago, 300 years ago, there come a British sailor coming down to this part of the world. When he reached Kuching at that time, he found out that the natives within Kuching were fighting among each other at that time. So somehow he managed to resolve the dispute between the natives, between the Malays, between the Dayaks, and because of that, the communities down here decide to put him up to be the Raja of Sarawak. It was a small state initially. He was an Englishman who became a Raja in a faraway place which is called Sarawak, the first division of Sarawak. And from there on, this Raja broke, and his descendants slowly make that state become bigger and bigger and bigger to be what it is today. It's quite an interesting history, but unlike history of colonialism in many other areas in the world, the Raja's family did a lot of good things also in Sarawak. He's the one that brings in education. He's the one that brings in religion and a system of government. Actually, the first parliament or the first legislative assembly in Malaysia is in Sarawak. It's not in Kuala Lumpur. Actually, it is in Sarawak. I have forgotten about the year, but then we do know that the first sitting or meeting of leaders at that time was in Bintulu. It was in Bintulu. So that is how it is. It is also very good that to see Museum Department and University Malaysia Sarawak coming up with this idea, collaborating with universities from outside and bringing in participants from outside. As what has been mentioned, apart from boosting the tourism industry. You will be able to, what the Malay say, merapatkan silaturahim, or to foster friendship between the different universities, different communities, different people from different part of the world. This is something which is very, very much encouraged, and I must congratulate UNIMAS as well as the Museum Department Sarawak for coming up with this good idea. But somehow or other, when I see this two museum at the back is not completed, your journey down here will not be completed, even with this night in the museum. So hopefully, those who spend the night in the museum tonight can come again in future, maybe in a year's time or 2 years' time, to see. Once the two museums are already completed, you can rest assured that the artifacts that are being placed in this museum are really, really very, very old artifacts, very, very good artifacts, and it really reflects the history of Sarawak. Well, as what I mentioned much earlier, I'm someone who loves museum. I've been to so many museums all over the world, and though this museum might not be as big as the museum in St. Petersburg or the one in London or Amsterdam, but it does have a very rich, or portray a very, very rich history of Sarawak and Borneo. So I was also only informed just now that the participant will be staying down here. Actually, when I see night in the museum, I was wondering what actually is this program about. Probably they just want to have something different, a program which would end before midnight. But then I was only informed just now when I asked Surya that they actually stay in the museum, staying down here. So I was asking, the first thing that I was asking, is the toilet enough for them? 80 of them. Normally there are not enough toilets for this kind of buildings are for offices, and if there are so many of them, where would they be having showers and all that? Well, I hope you can make do with the limitation that you will be having in these two buildings. But in the event that you feel a little bit creepy at night, you are staying in a place in a museum, and the Sarawak Museum is very much known for its human skull, hanging human skull. These posts are, the tiang is called Kliriang. This is the place where the orang ulu place their death. When they died, the leader normally placed inside these two posts. And before the post is erected, some slaves will have to die with the post. Normally, yeah. But then it must have been brought in from another area, so you will definitely not be seeing skull under the post or the clearing that we have next door. But when we have got something like that, probably you might be those with kurang semangat. That's what orang Melayu or the Malay say. Those who are not really strong in the semangat, might be seeing things or feeling things at night. Well, if you suddenly have goosebumps, the hotel is just next door for you to move. It's just next door behind you. The building is Merdeka Palace. Merdeka Palace. You can just move out and check into a more comfortable room to stay. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't want to talk more. A lot has been mentioned by Surya, the acting director, as well as professor, on the kind of program I hope you all enjoy your stay in Sarawak. As what I mentioned just now. When you are down here, don't only look at it from the academic side. Try as much as possible to understand the lifestyle, the food, the heritage, and the many exciting places that we have at night or in the daytime. You can even go out a little bit out of Kuching to the Sarawak Cultural Village. That is a living museum. Sarawak Cultural Village is about 20 miles, 15 miles to the coast of Sarawak. You will be able to see a living museum called the Sarawak Cultural Village. That is a must-visit place, especially for those who are not from Kuching or not from Sarawak. And apart from that, you can even take a trip to the log house. There are quite a number of log houses at Anarais and a few other places nearby to Kuching. They might not be very, very authentic because when you are very near to the city, there will be a lot of changes. If you want the real, very authentic log houses of the natives, you have to venture deep into the interior using the rivers and all that. And that is where you will be able to really feel the kind of lifestyle, the kind of culture of the natives, especially the Dayaks. And another good time that you can also consider coming over is in the month of June. In the month of June. 1st of June is our Harvest Festival. It's being celebrated by the Dayaks. And that is the time when it's just like Oktoberfest for the German. Oktoberfest for the German. Down here we've got the Gawai Dayak, which is celebrated, or Harvest Festival, which is celebrated on the 1st of June. But it's not just celebrated for a day, it will be dragging on for at least a week or two. That is the time when employers especially gets very worried because that's the time when they have got Dayak staff. 1st of June, at least a week they will not be seeing their staff because they will be going back to the village or the longhouses, and they will only come back 1 or 2 weeks later. And then when they are in their kampung, that's the time of marriage, where there will be a lot of dancing, there will be a lot of festival ceremonies and all that. And we are also still in the midst of Chinese New Year for those of the Chinese community. I hope it's not too late for me to wish you all Kong Si Pa Chai. There are quite a number of Chinese down here also, I can see from the places. Selamat Tahun Baru Cina, Kong Si Pa Chai. We celebrate so many different types of festivals. The Muslim, the Malays celebrated the Hari Raya or Idul Fitri. The Dayak celebrate Christmas as well as the Gawai Dayak. The Chinese celebrate the Lunar New Year, which we just celebrated. Today is only the 4th day. And the Hindu celebrates the Deepavali and all that, even though there are not many Hindus down here in Sarawak. Well, I think that's about all that I wish to mention. I hope you all have an enjoyable time tonight and tomorrow, as well as your other stay. If there is any of you who will be extending your stay, you are very much welcome to visit the other part of Sarawak. We do have the world-renowned UNESCO heritage Mount Molu, Gunung Molu, which is very, very famous, not just to Sarawak but also to all the rest of the world. And apart from that, we are also in the midst of getting another cave recognized as a UNESCO heritage, that is Mount Nia, Gua Nia, or Nia Cave. When I was still in school, those days, none of us knows about Mount Mulu actually, or Mulu Cave, because it was not in our history book or in our geography book. It was only found in the 80s, and somehow it gets recognized by by UNESCO as a World Heritage Cave. But two Sarawakians and two Malaysians actually, they are more synonym with Nia Cave. Nia Cave is really being known to us when we are still in school, and it's easier to visit Nia Cave because it's just about 1.5 hours journey from the city of Miri. All this while, we have known that Nia Cave is inhabited by human beings from what has been known to us in our history books and by scientists at that time when they were doing the excavations. That cave was inhabited by human beings for about 40,000 years. That is what we were made known by the scientists then. And quite a lot of the bones that are excavated down there are now in the United States of America, which we are still in the midst of negotiating and trying to bring them back. There are more than 100 skeletons that are down there in Florida, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully we can bring them back this year for us to showcase. But we made a new discovery recently, which we have not really publicized to the world, which will change somehow the history of Southeast Asia or Cambodia. The human inhabitants that are staying in Nia. Initially we thought it was 40,000 years, but then a research by scientists from the University of New South Wales, Australia, just found out that those who are staying in Nia Cave has been staying there for the last 65,000 years. That is an addition of 25,000 years. Well, I am not a scientist on this. To me, 25,000 years is a very, very long time. Human being can only live for about 70, 80 years. 25,000 years additional to the 40,000 years will definitely create some kind of a shake-up, because some states in West Malaysia have been very proud to say the first human being, the Ipoh man, some are saying the Ipoh man, and so they will be stating that the Ipoh man is how many thousand years, it might be more than the 40,000 years that we have proclaimed earlier. But now we have got findings which shows that it is 65,000 years. So that will somehow or other change the history of this region, and that is something very, very interesting, which we will definitely make it known in a proper way with the scientist findings, with all those things. One of these days, once we have got all those things collected and documented. So that's why you can see Sarawak is quite an interesting place, apart from a state where people has been staying here for many, many thousands of years ago. They have got so many different ethnic groups. They have got so many different kind of lifestyle, the way they live, the kind of food and all that. And they have got so many different kind of religion now. And somehow, despite all this diversity, they are able to live happily, respecting each other. This level of tolerance that we have in Sarawak is something to be admired, and probably to our West Malaysian counterpart should be able to emulate. I'm not trying to speak about politics down here, but then West Malaysia has always been having all this problem. West Malaysia, that's why we in Sarawak has always been smiling at ourselves when we see them fighting. That some were saying that we cannot use the word Allah is only meant for the Muslim. You cannot put a cross, big cross, because it will trigger a lot of unhappiness to others and things like that. I mean, that is what is happening. But that is not happening down here. We can accept it very well. So we are very, very proud of how we live. We are very, very proud of our upbringing, our grooming and all that. And those are also things that can be are reflected inside our museums actually. So that's the reason why, since you can't be having a good picture or feel of the two museums that we are showing, come again next time, inshallah. So I think that's about all that I would want to say. Sekali lagi, once again, enjoy your stay. Thank you.